We dedicate a lot of time on this channel to discussing the legalities of starting a record label, such as contracts, registering your LLC, negotiating your contracts with your artists. But there's more day-to-day considerations that a lot of our clients kind of run into, and sometimes they don't think about until they're kind of in the weeds of things. And so to help you avoid some of those pitfalls, in today's video, we're going to discuss 5 things you need to keep in mind when starting your record label. Hi guys, I'm Miss Crystal. I'm an entertainment attorney, public speaker, and author of How to Keep Your Dukes Up in the Music Business. I'm the owner of Dukes Up Records, and most importantly, I'm an independent musician. Be sure to subscribe and turn on those bell notifications so you don't miss our weekly videos helping you with your record labels, helping you with your music careers, and giving you updates on what's going on in the music industry. And don't forget to sign up to be on my email list, linked down in the description below, to get updates on the upcoming online course, How to Build a Record Label. This is a synergy of everything that I know as far as owning a record label myself, being an entertainment attorney, and I've kind of put it all in one place for you guys. So I'm really excited about this. Make sure you sign up to get on our email list. Starting with number 5 on things to keep in mind when starting your record label: don't make promises you can't keep. I work with bigger labels as well as startups, and so I just know that with my startup clients that sometimes it's the best of intentions, but you have to remember that you have a responsibility to communicate kind of the logistics and the reality of what it is that you're going to be able to do for artists. Now, what I mean by this is, we need to obviously give a sales pitch. We want artists to sign with us because we are going to put in time and effort. We're going to try to help them, but artists don't know what that really means or what that really looks like, right? So, if you, for example, have connections, if you, for example, can make certain things happen for artists, that's great, and you can communicate that. But I think that if you are just kind of saying, I'm going to make you a big star, but you really don't have anything kind of set up, you don't have experience, well, what's going to happen is that as that relationship kind of goes on, you're going to have an artist who becomes very dissatisfied, very frustrated, and, obviously the relationship might not work out with that artist, but then that's a part of your reputation and what that artist has to say about your company moving forward. And one quick example is just, I was on the side of the record label in a deal, and I was talking to the parents of an artist. Now, she was, over the age of 18, but nonetheless, the parents were kind of overseeing the deal. And I remember the parents kind of asking questions about, we're gonna have her not go to college, and, this is gonna be her livelihood and this and that. And just understanding that, the income usually comes later. You're working together with the artist, you're building them so that they can be successful. And so that might happen at some point, in the future, but you gotta be honest. And so if your artist is not gonna be making a full-time career on the earnings, realistically, you need to say that to the artist. So don't overpromise, be realistic, and then overdeliver. Number 4 on things to keep in mind when starting your record label: don't overcommit. Now, there's a lot of different ways that I could show you guys when this becomes a disaster for my record label clients, but an easy one might be in how many artists that you initially sign, right? So if you are a brand new label and you've never done this, you don't know how to register music, and we're walking through this stuff together for the first time, don't sign 10 new artists to your label. And maybe don't, sign, let's say, even just a couple of artists, because a few of those are bands, and that includes multiple members, because all of a sudden now you have that responsibility to be representing the different artists, to be getting them opportunities, to kind of scheduling studio sessions and music videos. And you just want to make sure that you can actually deliver on what it is, like we said earlier, on what you promised. And so not stretching yourself too thin in the beginning so that you kind of implode, from the inside. Don't do that. You want to make sure that you are successful and that you follow through and you have every opportunity for the artists that you do sign to succeed, and for you to ultimately be profitable, and for you to enjoy that success as well. So just make sure, especially in the beginning, don't overcommit. The third thing to keep in mind when starting your record label is to take it seriously from the beginning. Now, this can mean things like you have contracts, right? Don't be doing stuff on handshake deals, which means that you and I come up with an agreement, we say it to each other, but we never actually put it in writing. We don't even put it in an email to each other. You need to make sure that you actually get everything in writing so that you have proof. And so that helps to kind of establish you in a professional kind of manner. And I say this to clients, I go, I understand sometimes Shoving a contract at someone can feel uncomfortable, especially if that's new for you, but it actually shows how professional and experienced that you are, or at least have a perception of being, because you're not going to be taken advantage of, you're going to be clear about what the terms are, and you're not going to be kind of loosey-goosey with how you do things. So one thing is contracts, but another thing might be in who you bring into the label. Maybe you have some friends who are kind of interested in what you're doing, but you know that those people aren't maybe good for the business. Maybe they're just more fun to have around. And so maybe bringing them in and giving them a share of the company, maybe that's not the best move, right? So you can do things where you don't give away some of the business, but you say, oh, you're cool, let's see if we can work together, maybe you can do this and that, and I'll kind of pay you for your time. Work out things so that you can bring people in and you can work at growing, but don't be giving away stuff right away. Take it very seriously, because you need to act like your record label is going to be successful. You're not doing this, you're not starting all of this so that you're gonna fail, right? So assuming that you're gonna put in the time and the effort and you're gonna grow your record label, you wanna make sure that you've actually made those commitments early on and that you kind of have that mindset that this thing's gonna be successful, and so you're gonna treat it seriously every step of the way. Number 2, and things to keep in mind when starting your record label, is know what's going on with your money. I had a client that I was speaking with, and the client is starting his own business, right? And he's been doing some stuff for a while, but has no idea kind of what's going on with his money from month to month. And I know that's probably more common than not. So as soon as you decide that you're gonna run your own business, right? You're gonna run your own label, that's very exciting, but all of a sudden now you do need to know what's going on. You do need to actually log into your accounts and see what money is going out and where. How much money are you making from the label? Because more than likely, you're probably not gonna make a lot right off the bat, right? Because you're gonna sign some artists, you're gonna release their music, and even if the music does moderately well, it's not necessarily gonna pay all too well, right? We start making some real streaming revenue when we hit millions of plays and that kind of thing. So I think as a starting point, at least kind of turn on your curiosity of, okay, what do I need to learn in order to know what's going on with my money? Where can I write it down? Get a piece of paper and a pen. You don't even need, these Word documents and these Excel sheets and some of these programs that people use to keep track. You can use a piece of paper and a pen and, once a month kind of document where your accounts are at, and then eventually get to that next step. Get to a little more professional, a little more organized. But if you kind of take these initial steps off the bat, then you are going to be thinking about, okay, we have this music video coming up. This music video is going to cost $2,000, even though we're getting hookups and this and that. Where are we getting $2,000 back into the business to pay for this? So while a lot of what we do is kind of emotion driven, right? We're excited, good energy, we're kind of propelling the label forward. We kind of have to still think about the hard stuff. We have to think about the money. And so put some plan in action, even if it's sitting down once a month and writing out on a piece of paper what your money looks like. The number one thing to keep in mind when it comes to starting your record label is having something to offer. Now this kind of goes back to a couple of the other tips that I mentioned earlier in this video as far as when you're in it, right? The promises that you've made, the ability to actually follow through and deliver. You don't need to be so far advanced that you don't sign anybody until you have amazing connections and distribution set up and all this stuff. You can get started now, and I encourage you to do so, right? Don't wait, because sometimes we wait, we get scared, and then we just do nothing. Still start, but when it comes to kind of when you approach an artist, what is it that you can do for them? And if you don't know about music distribution just yet, you don't know how to get music onto music platforms, then maybe you need to do some research, right, before you have that conversation. But even just solving that one problem with a musician who doesn't know how to get their music out there, well, all of a sudden, you're valuable. You did something. Maybe you did some research about marketing. And so musicians who don't know how to market themselves, they need help. And you say, I can solve that problem. So really what we're doing for musicians is that we are solving problems for them, and we are building and helping them to build their team and to grow their music careers. And again, even if you are kind of earlier in this and you are still learning and you are still kind of doing what you need to do to get to that point where you feel more confident and comfortable representing artists, still in the meantime, a part of what's going to be appealing is your hustle. And I can even speak from personal experience. I remember I signed with a company, and the thing that turned me on the most about this company is that they worked their butts off And they assigned like a 5-person team to my project, and every day we were communicating about those next steps. And so, whether stuff panned out or not, it was exciting to me. And I appreciated that I had help and I had people who cared about my music career. And so for me, and wanting to sign with this company, that was a big reason I said yes, because they really didn't have other artists like me. They hadn't really proven that they could make, me a big star or whatever. Not that they were selling me on that, but look at kind of what's going to be interesting to the artist and to get them to sign with you and bring that value. Now, these are just 5 things to keep in mind when starting your record label, but there is so much that goes into this as far as knowing where to register music, how to distribute, who to distribute with, the marketing, the legal contracts. I mean, it can be very overwhelming, but that's why A, I do these videos, but B, I'm doing this online course so that you can get that comfort and you can relax a little bit and just know that you're going to be set up for success and you can kind of just move forward and have the resources at your fingertips. So make sure you get on our email list. Like I said, the link is down in the description below. If you're in the mood for some dark pop music, be sure to check out Miss Crystal on all music platforms. I just released my new album, Dangerous Daughters, as well as our music video, Holy Water, which I'll be sure to link at the end of this video. Come say hi on social media. It's always cool to meet you guys, and I love hearing your stories about your music careers, about your record labels, and everything in between. Be sure to subscribe, turn on those bell notifications so you don't miss any videos from your new favorite redhead. I'll see you guys on the next one. I'm Miss Crystal.